There we go. Good evening, everybody. I'm calling this meeting of the Board of Trustees on September 22nd, 2025 to order at 7 o'clock. If we could start with a roll call.
1 second, sir.
Trustee Alfano.
Here.
Trustee Cordova. Here. Trustee Constatos.
Here.
Trustee Kozar.
Here.
Trustee Kumar. Trustee Sabri.
Here.
Village President Kevin Patrick.
Here. All right, thank you. If we can all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Okay, do we have any amendments to the agenda? Trustee Alfano.
Yes, I would like to make a motion to move items 7A, B, and C to before public comment.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Sabri, second. Is there any discussion? Voice vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none? Okay, we will move our presentations up next. So, Manager Rivas.
Well, we will present to you Chief Todd Kubish, who is somewhere in the back. If we can please find Chief Kubish, and he has a brief presentation. Thank you, sir.
Ready?
Yes.
Greetings, everybody. This is one of the best parts about being the chief here is promoting good people. Then again, we have all good people, so it's kind of hard to pick who we're going to promote, but I guess we made the selections down to these individuals. I'd like to ask Sergeant Pagan to come up front. Can you hear me okay? So this is Sergeant McGann. I'm not sure how many here know him or do not know him. He's represented by his mother, Carmen, his wife, Nancy, his son, Gus, Elza, Joshua, Adriana, Andrew, and daughter-in-law, Emma. I'm going to put my glasses on here. Sorry, I tried, but I need a bigger font, apparently. Jose Pagan, prior to joining the police department, he served the United States Marine Corps. If you've ever spoke to Jose, you'll know that he definitely was in the Marine Corps, the way he talks, the way his voice carries, very dominating. Jose joined the Villa Park Police Department in 2002. Great hire, as far as I'm concerned. Throughout Jose's career, he's been a patrol officer, obviously a tactical officer, detective, patrol supervisor, watch commander. One of the great positions that he holds is the field training coordinator, which what that is that actually supervises the individuals supervising and training the new officers, which obviously that's very important. So when somebody is entrusted with that position, that says a lot about their character and their skills as an officer as well as a communicator. In addition to that, Jose is a specialized NIPUS SWAT operator. He's a sniper. He has been promoted to the team leader of the sniper squad of Merit. So really it should come no surprise that we're promoting Jose from sergeant to deputy chief. Jose has always been a peer leader prior to even being promoted to sergeant as an officer. He was always one of those individuals that was leading packed, somebody that people would go to for advice, as well as information on an arrest or how to handle a certain incident. I have also always known Jose to be have the highest integrity. He's always been dependable. When he was in the detectives, Jose never failed to answer the phone, never failed to show up, and I can't say enough good things about Jose, and it's a very proud moment to promote you from sergeant to deputy chief. You do a great job, and I know that the men and women of the community are going to be definitely well sought after as your position holds, okay? Mr. Clerk, when you're ready. All right, sir, thank you.
No flag?
Yeah, we need a flag.
Who's gonna do the flag for you?
I, Jose Pagan,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the ordinances of the Village of Villa Park,
and the ordinances of the Village of Villa Park,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
Deputy Chief
of Deputy Chief
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
So with that being said, I believe that Carmen, Jose's mother, is going to have the honor of pinning him. Jose doesn't wish to say anything tonight, for once, for the first time. But thank you, right? Thank you. Congratulations. Officer Bregman, step to the front. We're going to start with the glasses. And if I sound funny, I've got a little cold going on today, so I apologize. Officer Bregman is here with her mother. Thank you for coming. Her husband, Mark, and her sons and daughter, Alexa, Logan, and Mateo. Before joining Villa Park Police Department, Sonia attended Nova Southeastern University, where she earned a bachelor's degree in business administration. After she graduated, she worked for TSA. We won't get into that, but in 2008, she was hired here at Villa Park, and I think I spent some of the first days in a patrol car with her, and she was a little bit timid, and she was a little bit shy, and I'm like, Sonia, you've got the gift of gab. You've got the conversation, which is all you really need of this job, is to be able to communicate and properly express your feelings and talk to people. And you've got that. All this other book stuff, we'll get that later. As long as you figure out something's wrong, we'll get it right. And I think you took my advice, because you kept talking and talking and talking, and it's worked out really well for you. On a serious note, though, the talking part, Sonia served as our SRO officer in the high school, where she has impacted so many people, so many kids, so many teachers, so many lives. And like, I should have said it with Pagan too, but in our lives as police officers and police people, I guess you'd say, even as receptionist clerks, you don't realize how much you impact someone's life in 5 minutes, whether it's a phone call, whether it's a nice gesture, whether it's walking in the store, talking to somebody for 2 minutes as a police officer. That means a lot to people. And you're one of those people. And the reason I can say that is because when Sonia ultimately decided to come out of the SRO position, she still had this great drive for community. So even though she wasn't in the school, she was still going to St. Pius and in the other grade schools, and she came up with her own programs on crime prevention, internet safety for parents, teaching the parents how to watch the kids, and additionally have the kids watch the parents, I believe, something like that, right? Stranger danger, something that is not even around anymore. So it's actually important. People little kids need to know what to watch out for. Cyberbullying, another big thing that you came up with. And then the big problem we have is the SALT. Sonia's been representing SALT, which is Senior Citizens Alliance with Law Enforcement. And there's a lot of upset seniors because Sonia is on midnights now. So we have allowed Sonia to adjust her hours or whatever she needs to make sure that she is still able to make that impact on the seniors because we love our seniors. I'm going to be one shortly. So I want you to be there to take care of me. So, another thing that Sonia does, which is definitely a big deal, is she's a peer support team member. And what that is that when we have an officer who might have a traumatic incident or maybe problems at home or who knows what, whether it's from our department or another department, they're going to talk to a police officer, not a stranger. Somebody that understands the impact of the job and what it does to us personally. So she does that as well. Additionally, field training officer, right? She trains our new people. Who would have thought, right? I have always known Sonia to be also the highest integrity. Dependability is just amazing. And she's so thorough to the point it makes me feel like I'm not thorough enough. You've always been that person that's done your work, checked the boxes, went back and forth. So you are just a really good officer. You always have been. And I know you're going to be a great supervisor. Additionally, Sonia is going to be the first female supervisor in the history of the Villa Park Police Department. There's no pressure, there's no pressure. And you thrive under pressure like the rest of your coworkers do as well. So I have no issues. Our thoughts are going to do anything other than great work. So I congratulate you on this milestone of being the first female officer and number one, first and foremost, of being promoted to sergeant. Like Deputy Chief Pagan, you worked hard, you earned it, and you should keep your head high and be like, I crushed it, because you did. You have, and you will continue to do so. So with that, clerk, please.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Looking good. And again, when I say I, I'm not going to say state your name. You know what your name is. All right, let's do it. I
I, Sonia Bergman,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States,
of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the ordinances of the Village of Villa Park,
and the ordinances of the Village of Villa Park,
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Police Sergeant
of the office of Police Sergeant
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
You have to let Mark pin you. So, Mark, her husband, you might recognize him. He's a retired lieutenant here for Villa Park, previous DARE officer as well. Go ahead, Mark. Would you like to get pictures with them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
One more.
Oh, one more.
Yeah, get in there, buddy. You guys want to shop with her?
Slide in first.
Both our officers can have photos, group photos.
Group photo.
It's nice that you came to the banquet. I had a good time.
It was fun.
I need you guys to stay all the way.
It makes because it's a Christmas night, so
That's all there is.
Guys, I'm gonna need all you to squeeze in.
Oh, I thought you were shaking her hand. I didn't know you were shaking my hand.
I was like, honey. We're gonna get out of the picture.
Head on the second zero. The layer program. Bring it in. All the way down. You're short and up there.
Everybody look at me.
Say hi to everybody else. How you doing?
Sorry? My bad, sorry.
Have a great night.
I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
stop you smell the flowers.
Have a good night.
Our battery's running.
Do you have a charger?
Yeah, it's one of those Mondays.
It's, nice
just
right
like trying to catch up on everything from being gone. I know.
I didn't have time to go get some new flowers today, but next meeting we'll have new ones. Be a little fresh.
Organized.
Music playing.
I was downtown last week and I forgot my charger, I forgot my Fitbit.
I was thinking I bought my laptop going, oh, I'll just go over
was
and
hiding.
while we're there. I'm trying to hear.
I just want
was going to ask
if anybody says like
they're but it was awesome.
they're passing notes. No, I just told him to turn his music off. So we
I'm
didn't
sorry,
have
what was
to.
that?
I'm sure we'll hear from you.
If anybody says we're passing
Right.
notes.
Yeah, there you go.
Tidy.
Different here than that.
We're just gonna give it an extra minute to
Yeah,
clear up
Clear
here.
out? Yeah, sounds good to me.
there you go. I got a fan in the, how's everything? My office, if you
No,
want to.
just have.
Yeah, because it's Navratri.
We all have moments.
Oh, I know.
Navratri is worse than Navratri is very tiring. I think I might.
Gary?
I gotta go from house to house.
Gary?
We approach the bench.
All right, Fun Commission. You're up.
Happy to help.
Do you need a copy of the agenda? You have it.
I have one. Did you need one?
Yeah, I'm gonna go grab it.
Okay.
Somebody from the press here, or is the guy with the gray hair in the back row?
You want me to start at the top?
What's that?
Yes. Top there? Okay. All righty.
Oh. Not a clue. I know nothing.
I mean, I'm going to...
Here it is.
It was Ken.
Hey. Hello, everybody. Thanks for bearing with me. We're the Fun Commission. I'm Mary, this is Leslie. Kathy Asana and Carlos all came to support us. And we do landscaping awards during the summertime. And it's fun, but we don't always get to see as much of the village as we should because, you know, when you're going to Target or something, oh, I got to remember that house, and you never remember that house. But we do have 3 beautiful houses that we've nominated and voted as the winners this year. And the first one we are going to look at is Leslie's nomination, and it won. And it's a beautiful home. So I'll put Leslie in charge now, and I'll put the pictures forward.
Okay.
You let me know.
So the winner of the first award this evening goes to Jim and Joanne Tyree, and they live in the 100 block of Yale Avenue. Anyone with students over at Ardmore School may have passed by their house. We like this house because the front is beautiful, but then if you walk around the side of the house, I would knock on the door and ask before you do it on your own, but I'm sure that they'd be willing to do that.
It's not going forward. Oh, up here? So there's tech time with Mary. Here you go. And I won't remember. Okay.
So as you walk around the side of the house, you can see the garden continues on. They built that little pergola themselves and continue.
Oh, and you're making me do this now? There we go. Yay!
That's the front of the house. We're back at the front. And then that is the rear section of the house. So it's really, really beautiful. And it inspired us that next year we're thinking about doing backyard landscapes and having the community send in their own pictures. So, because there's lots of backyards out there that I know are just as gorgeous as their front yards. So, anyway, congratulations to Joan and Jim. Joanne was the one that did all the work and created and maintained their beautiful garden. That was from her husband, Jim. So I just wanted to make sure I got that out. Okay.
They couldn't be here, but we will make sure they get their award, which is... and we'll get them the certificate as well. So the next one is the Trippies. This is Andy and Olivia. Is it Olivia? If you want to come up, you can certainly come up. But when I nominated this home, Leslie said, oh, that's the house my husband always says. You should nominate that house. And it really, it's lovely. And we were lucky enough to meet Andy, and he gave us kind of a little tour while we were giving them their notice that they won. And there's something really, really special about this home, and we will notice it. But it's pristine, and it's just wonderful to look at. It's clean, and the back, the sidewalk kind of keeps going like a little river around there. So if you would walk back there and follow the little river around behind the garage, it's really interesting.
And Andy put that in.
Yes, Andy did all of this work because he needed something to do, I guess. This is what caught my eye too, and people have probably seen it. That's the garage from the side, and this little hobbity thing kicking out of the edge there in the back. And maybe we can't see. I'll ruin my thing here. No, it won't make any bigger. But because he gave us a tour, we got to see the whole thing. And we missed it on the pictures, but let's see if we can go back.
because it is a picture, they put it on there. It's one more picture, should be on here of the other thing.
Did they pull it back?
No, it should be forward. Well, it should be, my daughter's going to get it from me, she told me she put it on there. So, well, anyways, there is a picture floating around somewhere in the computer land of, yeah, of this little house. It's a little circular little hobbit house back there, and that's cute. Goes all the way around, and it's a lovely little, I would say, a little dog house maybe for for Andy. But you want to come up and talk about it or no? No, I'm so sorry. That picture's on here. I made sure I made her stay and. Yeah, come on up. The picture of in front of it is really cute. He's got a lovely little fireplace in there.
Yeah,
Talk about
it's a
it.
gazebo.
Stone gazebo.
I built it 46 years ago, and it's like an outdoor family room. Has a little small electric fireplace for when it gets cold out or cooler nights, and you know, watch TV in there. A lot of times my wife and I order pizza and sit out there on a Friday night, you know, but we just enjoy it.
It's just adorable.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that picture isn't here, but that par for course with they have recliners in there, so it's not just
Yeah.
some lawn chairs or anything.
Yeah, so
But yeah,
That's it.
the whole landscaping
Thank you.
is just
Thank you.
wonderful.
Thank you so much.
It really is.
You did tell us a comment about your wife and how meticulous
Oh, yes.
she is, the branches.
Yes, my wife is the one that, Olivia, come up. My wife is the one that really maintains the property. She loves flowers, and we have a lot of flowers there. And if there's a stick in the yard, she goes and gets it. So, I mean, she's having to take it.
Well, that goes with the realm of being retired. If you're used to being busy, then you have to find busy work. So in the summer and spring and fall, we do this. But thank you so much.
Yes, thank you all.
It's just beautiful, so drive by.
Thank you all.
People can see and that they can.
Meet with your stand.
Yeah, don't pluck it out after a week. Leave it up for just a little bit. So, thank you very much. Pluck it out. Okay. Let's try this. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay.
Like there or like right here?
Go
Like
forward.
right there?
Yeah, just go forward. Don't know. What? We're going to get to that. Here we go. Yes, yes, yes. Now this is Pam and Jim Prenta. You are here. There they are. And this, Eliza nominated this one. It's right off of the grade school, Ardmore School. And to me, this reminded, we had been dug up our Autumn Jubilee signs from 2 years ago that we had written all the facts on the back. And there were a lot of facts about the Ovaltine factory. And it just put us all in kind of like a mood of the Ovaltine, the wars and all the stuff that went through. And this was kind of romantic feeling back in that time. And the thing that we all loved was, of course, now it's not working. Oh, here we go, the rock garden. And I think maybe if we had taken these pictures a little bit earlier in the season, they would have really shown. But it's a huge rock garden all along the front of as you're driving towards the school. And I'm trying to get these pictures to work, and they're just not. I'm trying to flip to another picture.
Okay, so there's only
There should be 3 pictures. There we go. This is what caught my eye too. As you see, the bird bath is like embedded into the thing, and there's a little ornament back there. And there are some wash basins that have some little flowers in them. They were kind of a little past their prime now, but I think in their time, it's really cool little idea of the white pedestals up there, and you're walking like, oh, that's pretty, and you go, oh my God, there's sinks, So that's creativity there too. So this was our third one, and this is something that a lot of people see because they go by the schools and everything, so take a look at this. So Pam and Jeff, you want to come up and get your award? Someone, one, two?
I apologize for the weeds. This was not a...
Oh, that's okay, you know, it wasn't a good year.
You're at the
either.
right house.
It wasn't the best year, and it was droughty, and so we used our imagination, and we saw it. We saw it, yeah, romantic and everything, so. Yeah,
I liked your
congratulations. Pizza, so, and that's what you got too. So, yeah, so you can, and this is a sign for you, you can place anywhere in those rocks. Hopefully people can see it. And congratulations, we'll come and check next spring and see how everything survived over the winter. Thank you very much. So. That's the awards, and I know we took up a little bit more time. We just wanted to say a few things about Autumn Jubilee that's coming up. We still have 3 skeletons for people who want to pay for a skeleton, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So those are going to go up in about a week or 2, maybe, 2 or 3. So we have some wonderful entertainment. It's going to be bigger and better than you've ever thought, than you've ever even imagined. So I hope nobody misses it. Just stop by from 11 to 5 on October 18th, right at the museum and all the way down the ferry path till Summit. So.
We do have a live band that will be playing this year from 3 until 5 that day. The name of the band is Liquid Fun.
We searched and it landed in our lap. So. So that's it. I guess we're done, and thank goodness for you guys can just go on with your business.
All right, well, thank you. We will go ahead and move forward to public comments on agenda items.
We have none.
Is there anybody in the audience?
It was hard to get to here with everybody out of the crowd. I'm just making a comment on 14, your resolution on the end. As a resident, I see that we were informed we can't ask questions, so I'm hoping for clarity to see, as a resident, in 2024, we were informed that Community Development and Economic Department overlapped each other, so we didn't need 2 directors, because the joint departments could handle redevelopment in the village. Now we're being told that we need an outside company to handle the present businesses and corporation properties in the village, still under 1 director, of course. I didn't know Villa Park had a large-scale business that the village needed to handle. And then there's a question of the budget for the service of $7,000 a month. And who will be monitoring this company for the 12 months to verify the need for the 20 hours a month? But yet, as the company is proposing the $350 for every extra hour over 20 hours, sounds like they're already anticipating that Mill Association is going to be doing a lot of extra hours being billed to the village. I didn't see that the company worked for small villages or towns with our tax base, which is a little concerning to me because they were all large companies that they brought up that they worked with and large villages. I can only guess that the board wants to hire this company to solve the village problem that we had with previously Hawthorne, and now we're working with Union Project. But my understanding is the Union Project is going forward, but we haven't seen anything. As a resident, I have to wonder at what cost to me in resources and service is this going to bring about?
Could you please state your name for the record?
Cheryl Tucker.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there anybody else with comments on agenda items? Okay, seeing none, we are moving along to public comments on non-agenda items. Is there anybody? Clerk Lauken.
We have nobody.
Okay, is there anybody in the audience with public comments on non-agenda items? And if you could please state your name for the record.
Sharon Albers. Just a quick comment on the, what is it, the Prairie Path in Villa Avenue with those lights? Someone mentioned it about a month ago. I think it was you. They're still not working. I mean, I live right kind of real close to there, and I'm at Villa Park all the time. And I can't tell you how many close calls there are with the people just, and now the kids are, I think they come from York High School, the track kids. I mean, it's just, I can't believe it takes a month. I don't know how the technology works on that stuff, but that's it's been over a month now, so that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there any other comments on non-agenda items? Trustee Alfano.
I would like to request that we address that comment, just because I know that it was addressed in the last meeting, but a resident might have missed that. If Director Guerrero could address that, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, those are actively being worked on. Our staff has been assembling. It does take some time. There was a large lead time to get the new products in, but they are being assembled. You might see some of the posts going up, like the posts are actually up on Harvard and the Prairie Path. But that was one of the locations I did prioritize, but I will check with staff to make sure that's going forward. It does take a little bit of time. There is some wiring, batteries, there is some conjunction with it, so they are actively being worked on and should be hopefully in operation very soon.
Okay, thank you.
So, can I ask for clarification? It's not just the light bulbs, correct? Or just like the pressing mechanism? It's
Correct.
the whole mechanism?
We bought a whole new assembly. We could not figure out the issue with that, and then by the time you start ordering new pieces, there is a computer in there, there's wireless connectivity from side to side, so when you press the button on one, it activates the other side, and they were kind of older, so we went ahead and replaced the whole assembly. But there's some wiring that goes down to the button, up to the computer's to talk, solar panels that go on there, solar powered battery recharge, so it does take a little bit, but we are working actively to get that one back online. And I will talk to staff to make sure that we continue on that path to make sure that they're up as soon as possible.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot. Do we have any other public comments on non-agenda items? Okay, seeing none, we'll move forward with our proclamations. First, we have a proclamation recognizing October 2025 as Arts DuPage Month in Villa Park, Illinois. Whereas Arts DuPage has reached out to the cities or the villages of DuPage County on an annual basis to gain support, designating October as Arts DuPage Month, and whereas the arts embody much of the accumulated wisdom, intellect, and imagination of humankind, and whereas the arts enrich us as individuals and play a unique role in the lives of our families and our communities, and whereas the arts improve our economy, enrich our civic life, drive tourism and commerce, and exert a profound positive influence on the education of our children. And whereas the arts promote a better understanding of the diversified cultures within our communities and unify us regardless of age, race, and ethnicity. And whereas the arts sector in DuPage County consists of 2,272 art-related businesses and accounts for 4.2% of the total number of businesses in the region, a larger share of the economy than the transportation, tourism, agriculture, and construction, while they provide 15,000 full-time jobs within DuPage County. And whereas the arts helped lead us through the darkest times by lifting our spirits, unifying communities, and providing entertainment. They also play a vital role in enlivening our public spaces, driving the economy, and elevating the appeal of our county. Now, therefore, it be resolved that I, Kevin Patrick, Village President of the Village of Villa Park, do hereby support the initiative and proclaim October 2025 as the Arts DuPage Month in the Village of Villa Park, Illinois, and call upon our community members to celebrate and promote the arts in DuPage County. Proclaim this 22nd day of September 2025. And our next proclamation is recognizing October 5th to October 11th, 2025 as Fire Prevention Week. Whereas the Village of Villa Park is committed to ensuring the safety of all of those who live and work within our community. And whereas home fires killed 2,890 people in the United States in 2023, according to the National Fire Protection, the NFPA, and fire departments in the United States responded to 332,000 home fires. And whereas the 2025 Fire Prevention Week theme, Charge into Fire Safety, Lithium-ion batteries in your home, and whereas the safe use and storage of lithium-ion batteries is vital for preventing fires, and proper charging, handling, and disposal are critical to public safety. And whereas the Village of Villa Park is dedicated to reducing the occurrences of home fires and injuries through public education and fire safety initiatives. And now, therefore, I, Kevin Patrick, Village President of Villa Park, do here proclaim October 5th through 11th, 2025 as Fire Prevention Week throughout this village. I urge all of the people of Villa Park to charge into fire safety by learning more about lithium-ion battery safety and other vital fire prevention measures, and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of the Villa Park Fire Department during Fire Prevention Week. Read and proclaimed this 22nd day of September 2025. Thank you. All right. All right, we'll be moving along. We do not have any appointments to commissions, so we move along to the consent agenda. The bill listing for the weeks of August 25th, 2025 in the amount of $1,700,711.40, and September 2nd, 2025 in the amount of $41,298.67. We have the minutes from the Committee of the Whole meeting held on July 14th, 2025. The minutes from the Board of Trustees meeting held on July 14th, 2025. Minutes from the Village Board of Trustees meeting held on August 25th, 2025. The minutes of the Village Board of Trustees special meeting held on September 8th, 2025. We also have item F, an ordinance granting a variation from section 2.5.2 of the zoning ordinance for the property located at 500 East Harrison Street. An ordinance granting a variation from section 2.3 of the zoning ordinance for a property located at 920 South Summit Avenue. We also have item H, an ordinance approving a variation from section 9.2.2 of the zoning ordinance for the property located at 1046 South Route 83. Item I, an ordinance amending ordinance number 3092 to allow a body wash within the existing special use at 300 West High Ridge Road. And then item J, a resolution authorizing the purchase of network switches and wireless access points through Noble Tech LLC. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda? Trustee Constados, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Kozar, seconds. Any discussion? Trustee Constados.
Yes, thank you. I have questions regarding billings and was wondering if we could have staff come to answer some.
So, trustee, just to clarify, the process for consent agenda is if you want to discuss an item on consent agenda, you would just remove it from consent and then proceed with the vote, and then after the vote on the consent agenda, then you would discuss whatever had been removed.
Well, I don't necessarily want to remove anything, I just had questions to ask, so, okay.
Sure, and consent agenda, the purpose of it is to not have any discussion. It's just because there are no questions, you can pass everything. If trustees have questions, then you just take it off of the consent agenda.
Okay.
Trustee Constados, that would fall under 9A, correct?
Correct.
If you would like, we can remove that from consent agenda. Go ahead and take our vote on the consent agenda and then come back to 9A to answer those
please.
questions. Okay. Do I have a motion to remove 9A from, oh, no?
Just simply
remove?
one trustee saying they want to remove it is enough.
That's enough for me. All right. So that's what we will do. We will remove 9A from the consent agenda, and we will return to that after our vote here. So we have a motion on the table by trustee Constados and then seconded by trustee Kozar. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constatos.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay, so now we will move back to consent agenda item 9A, the bill listings for the weeks of August 25th, 2025. Trustee Constados.
Thank you. Yes, I wanted to ask, I noticed in looking at the billings that we're still kind of making health insurance payments and vision payments for May through July, and I was wondering if we could have some explanation for the residents as to that?
The payments for them?
Yes, as, previously, we had thought we were current and up to date, so I was wondering why we're still making payments from May through July?
I believe on those invoices, the HR department was verifying and going through the report to ensure, because that wasn't looked at for several months, actually quite some time, actually longer than that, to ensure that there weren't employees on there that are no longer with us, and to work with Blue Cross Blue Shield, VSP, and our dental carrier, if they were on there and they were terminated, that we weren't charged for them, and we needed to get those clarified and cleaned up before we presented them for payment and process payment on them.
Okay, so are we still behind on payments, or are we current now?
No, we should be current now.
Should be current, okay. And are we done with paying any fees?
In terms of our benefit group, yes, but there is going to be, to elaborate on that, I believe it was the last board meeting, we had IRMA invoices that were still behind, that were finding that there was some outstanding invoices. If you recall, at the last bill list, there were a citing on there where there was some fees, I believe it was $3,000 and $1,500 for late fees, and those were for previous reports that weren't done on time. You're going to see that come in the next month or so as well, because they're going to be charging us a late fee for our revenue-based report that is due, that was due back in end of June, beginning of July. I did complete that report for IRMA, and I did it using our unaudited numbers. However, even though that they're grateful for that number for their purposes for billing us, because they take that revenue base to see what they're going to be charging us for the following year, our audit is not complete for 2024. And the auditors won't be here for field work until the end of October, first week of November at the very latest. We should have a draft of the audit somewhere around Thanksgiving or shortly thereafter. It will definitely be done and approved or presented to you by the end of the year. However, because it's so far behind and so late, they won't take the unaudited report and numbers that I used off our financial system to give to them in a good faith effort. So they have to follow their bylaws. And so what's going to happen is we're going to endure, it's $50 a day, and then after 30 days, it's $100 a day. So you'll be seeing that next month. And I'll put a little note in the bill list or on a email thread that will go out explaining that invoice to you. But there is going to be some late fees coming because of past administration.
Thank you very much.
Director Micah, did you, when you were talking about reviewing some of the old records, did we find any previous employees that were still on the record that didn't work here anymore?
I believe so, but I want to defer that to our HR department, because they were looking at it and they mentioned it, but I'm 99.9% positive that there were some issues, but off the top of my head, I can't definitively.
So just to clarify then, is that we might have been paying for employees' insurance that no longer worked for the village?
Correct.
Okay.
I know that there was one or two, but I don't know if they were retired and then they weren't dropped off, or how that worked, but I know that there was something. I apologize. I don't mean to put you on the spot. Do you recall?
For the insurance, for all insurance?
Yeah.
They caught most of it. Yeah, there were several employees.
There
were several employees that were still on insurance that were never taken off.
When you say several, how many are we?
I don't know the exact number, but I know there was at least 4 or 5.
Okay. Okay. And do you know approximately how long we were paying for those employees, and how long they were separated from the village?
I believe most of them were within the last year and a half.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Is there any more questions? Trustee Alfano?
Yes, thank you. The claim deductibles that we have on our bill listing for Irma then, for March and April, those are then caught up?
Yes, and so those deductibles are for those months in terms of either open claims or closed claims that they were wrapping up for that month. That's the portion, that is our portion to pay, and that's what's being presented for payment.
Did we have late fees attached to those as well, or no? Do you know?
I don't, from March?
Those $50 and $100?
If it says $100 on the, there's no description next to it?
No, it just says claim deductibles.
The
Would it-
invoice that was for March from Irma, the deductible for their outstanding the last bill list.
No,
And we had June.
I mean, there were bills. Irma was bringing us bills from as late as 2022 that were not paid. So as we've been going on, trying to get everything caught up, we're unfortunately finding new stuff every day. We just received, I think, 4 invoices from 2022, so you're gonna see them being processed for the next meeting. But as far as late fees, I'm sure there's late fees calculated in there.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there any other questions? Trustee Constados?
Can I just clarify, did you say 2022?
Yes.
Thank you.
And many after that, but that's how far back it's going back, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions on the board? Could I get a motion for the consent agenda of 9A?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Trustee Alfano,
I'll second.
and seconded by Trustee Constados. Is there any further discussion? Trustee Constados.
I just want to make a comment and continue to thank the hard work that our staff has been doing to not only locate other issues that are obviously still being found, but to take care of them and clean up, obviously, some serious problems that we've had in the wind. So thank you very much for your dedication and everything. I just want to keep thanking them for that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And yes, Director Micah and your team, thank you for all that you're doing. Appreciate it. Okay, so with no further discussion, we can go ahead and do a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constatos.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay, there we go, thank you. So we will be moving along to our staff reports. 10A, the monthly financial report for August 2025. Director Micah.
Good evening. Presented in front of you is the monthly financial report for the month of August of 2025. Again, that's unaudited. Our general fund year-to-date revenues as of August 31st, 2025 total roughly $16.1 million, which is approximately 66% of where we're supposed to be at this time of the year at the end of August for our annual budget. Again, as I've repeated in the last several months, this deficit, when we're comparing this year, August of 2025 to August of 2024, our revenues are $4.4 million less than the previous year at this time. And the reason for that is because we have our once recurring variances due to the delay in recording various miscellaneous revenues and operating transfers, which my staff and I are currently working on. This stems from the prior finance team being over 7 months behind on the bank reconciliations, and our department is working very actively to resolve this backlog. And with the newer staff in place, it's taking us a little bit longer to get caught up, but we're getting those caught up for you. And the other major variance on that $4.4 million difference from this time last year and August of 2025 is the $2.2 million FEMA reimbursement that we received. So I'll kind of be repeating that throughout the year every month to keep that in mind, that differential between this time this year and last year is that FEMA reimbursement. So that makes a little bit of a difference. At 7 months into the fiscal year, we should have received 66% of our budgeted revenues as a benchmark for performance. Revenues for the other funds are generally performing in line with the budget expectations, assuming that the planned transfers from the general fund to these respective fund accounts occur, along with the budgeted interfund transfers from their committed sources. So for example, the street fund that we have actually gets not just a transfer from the general fund, but it also gets some money from the motor fuel tax fund to support it. those transfers I have intentionally been withholding, and I'll explain that in just a moment. At the end of August, our overall general fund expenditures are only at 58%, which we should be at 66%, so that looks good. However, with that being done is that I didn't do the transfers, and we haven't done any of the transfers from the general fund to the other funds. And when you look at that, even though the general fund revenues are at 16.1 in revenues and 16.2 in expenditures before the transfers, if we do those full transfer are executed, it'll represent 82% of the budget rather than 58% of the budget. I'm holding off on that because of the $2.6 million shortfall that resulted from the previous administration's failure to budget for the police pension contribution. So what I'm looking to do is I'm currently holding off on processing those transfers. I'm collaborating with each department head as we're working on the 2026 budget. Right now, we're actually meeting and getting through that. And in the next couple of weeks, we'll look at those assessments to see where we're at. And what I'm trying to look at is where we're going to predict that we're going to end at this year, and if they're going to need that full transfer from the general fund into their fund to cover their expenses. Sometimes, because of the timing of projects that come on board, you don't end up spending the full amount that you anticipate that you come to the board for. And so with that, that means that we may not have to do the full transfer, which is what I'm anticipating happening in the aspects to help cover that $2.6 million shortfall that wasn't budgeted for the police pension fund, so that this way we're not taking as big of a hit. When we make that determination, like I said, I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks, because we have been working very hard on the 2026 budget, so it's almost there, where we're getting ready. We've had multiple one-on-one department budget meetings. We're now going to be meeting with the village manager and going through it, so that this way we can make those determinations. I'm looking at that point where we can make that decision on what transfers we are going to make and make that recommendation. We will be bringing an amended budget to you, to the board, and explaining, hey, this is a $2.6 million shortfall that we recognized several months ago that we found. We've been working diligently to kind of scale back our spending, monitoring revenues, and this is what we're anticipating. Because I can't make that judgment call to not do that full amount that's transferred, because that was what was presented to you as a board for approval. So theoretically, I have to do that transfer. My recommendation is going to be, hey, this is what you budgeted, here's what I'm recommending and why. And that's the whole reason why, is to kind of bridge that gap of that $2.6 million shortfall for the police pension fund. All of the other funds are performing very well, with the exception of TIF 7, but that's not a bad thing, because property taxes are 1 year in arrears, and TIF 7 just went into place this year, so that's very much so expected. Next year, we'll get the property tax revenues, and that'll close that gap. So that's not an issue. It's normal performing within the realms that it should be. It just looks bad because it shows a negative on the monthly financial report. As you see on that last page, I've included the cash flow analysis for every fund through the end of August, and I've made some manual adjustments to that chart, and I keep refining it again to incorporate the last portion of that $2.6 million. We've only transferred 1.2 of it to the police pension fund. We still have to do the other transfer to make them whole. And like I said, as we're doing that, we're kind of refining that, and we'll have a better position of where the village's cash on hand position is for every single fund. And then currently, without accounting for those transfers and the general fund, right now, we're at $113 days cash on hand for the fund. But I'm kind of advising against being confident in that 113 days, because with those transfers, that's going to scale back to a lot less than that. So within the next month, we will have those numbers pretty more solid and solidified, so that you can see where we're projecting to end at 2024, where we're looking to end 2025, and what the transfers that we're recommending, so that we can get a better picture of where we exactly are at the end of the year. But those cash balances are exactly what each fund has with us, so that stays firm. It's just a matter of what pot you transfer the funds from, or within each other.
Okay. Are there any questions for Director Micah? Trustee Alfano.
Thank you. I first of all want to just thank you for presenting this monthly, because it really does give us that picture. It's kind of like going through our own personal banking accounts at home and kind of getting a picture, a snapshot of where we are. I know that you alluded or kind of mentioned in passing quickly about how you're working on the budget now for the next fiscal year, but you're also working on that reconciling the previous issues with the budget. Can you tell me what your time is like? Like, what does that day look like, and how much time are you using to work on reconciling that previous budget while helping and supporting staff with creating the budget for the budget workshop, which is soon, right?
Right. And so, we started the budget kickoff back in July. So when we implemented that new financial software program that we did back in January, we decided to use the budget module is what was purchased with it. And so we went live with it right away in July when we had the organization BSNA come back and do some one-on-one training for department heads. So we got training on how to use it, and then we went live right into it for departments to be able to enter their data. With them being able to enter their data into the system, what makes it very nice is that doing a budget is very, very cumbersome. Typically, within any organization in government, you will work with multiple different types of softwares, whether that's Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Teams, any other ERP systems out there, and then you're trying to pull all that data together into one. This is the first year that the department heads actually have it all in one place. So it's learning how to use that. It's collaborating with each other. For me in the finance department, it's been challenging because we've had a turnover in staff as well. So it's leaving that time that we had the positions vacant by the time we were able to get the new employee on board. And now that we have those employees on board, is just basically getting them acclimated to the software. They know how to do what they need to do. It's just having that tool and getting used to the software and applying those principles that they need to get it done. So it's taking a little bit longer. The way that I like to explain it is kind of peeling back the layers in the onions, and I'd rather them take their time. Sometimes I feel a little embarrassed when I give you that monthly financial report and I say we haven't booked the property tax revenues for August yet or July yet, and so you're seeing those revenue numbers look a little low. I go on the state's website, the DuPage County website, I can see those numbers. It's just a matter of getting it booked. But I don't want to jump ahead of my staff because I want to give them the time to get it done right the first time and take their time, because then as they get in a routine and get it done every single month, they get in that routine and it gets done correctly, and then it's easier for them to recognize when something's off and work together collaboratively, or bring it to my attention or another department's attention to work collaboratively. And it's not just my department, it's the other departments as well, because they communicate with us too. On top of the daily entering your accounting invoices, approving those, and just the residents coming to counter where you've got utility billing going on every day, where you've got the due dates on those, and then late invoices, implementing the late fines on those. It's every day, it's something new. We're in a different cycle, but it takes time, because we're going back and trying to fix and get 2024 ready. And then the bank recs weren't done. When I came on board, the last month that the bank recs were done were November of 2024, and I came on board at the end of May. So now, as the months have gone by, no other bank recs have been done, hence staff turnover, and so they're getting caught up. But that takes time, and when you're doing one, rather than, in a perfect world, let's say we have 20 bank accounts, and you're trying to reconcile them and doing, okay, do all of them for December, all of them for January. When you're learning, it really doesn't work that way. You're taking one bank account and you're going through and you're saying, okay, I'm going to do December, and then I might as well just knock out January, February, March, and April, get that all through August, and that takes time. So now you got that bank account knocked out, you got those entries done, and then you go on to the next one. Before you're in a routine then, let's say October comes around, now you'll be able to look at September's bank recs, and now you've got all 20 of those accounts that you're reconciling, and you're in that routine. But right now, because everything is just kind of discombobulated, if you will, they're doing the best that they can. And I try to help them as much as they can on top of getting the reports and stuff that I need to get done.
I appreciate that. You kept mentioning the routine and how we're trying to get a routine. I've been on the board for 2 years, and I've watched board meetings well before then, and I never really felt like I understood what the routine was for our budget, or what any of the finances were in our routine. So my ask of you, my question then is, first of all, when typically does a board in their fiscal year, whenever that starts, does a board expect or should expect an audit to be presented? Like, when does that auditing process start? And then when does a board, or when should a board expect to have that presented?
So the beauty about the Village of Villa Park is that your fiscal year is the same as your calendar year. So from explaining this, it makes it easier for me. in a perfect world, what should have happened, so in 2024, your fiscal year ended, went January 1, 2024 to December 31st, 2024. What should have happened is that in January and February, then, you're going into the motions of closing out your books, getting in your invoices booked to the previous months, doing all of your accruals, payroll, accounts receivable, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of work to be done with. You've got depreciation, you've got fixed assets, it's a team effort collaboratively, and it's not just the finance department, it's all the other departments working collaboratively together. The idea is that you have to, by state statute, you have to file your audit with the state within 6 months, 180 days of your fiscal year end. So if your fiscal year starts January 1, that means that by June 30th of the following year, you should have that report, your audit filed with the state, otherwise you begin to get fined from the state. You can't ask for an extension, and they do grant you extension, and you have to explain why, and then after a certain amount, then they stop granting you the extension. And then they begin to fine you as well. And that all came about, if you ever want to hear about that, is the situation that happened down in Dixon with the treasurer and the horses. That's the whole reason why now we have that implementation where they fine us. So just for references on that aspect. What the correct cycle is that for us now, since we're out of whack, the idea is I'm going to be meeting with the auditors nonstop now. So in November, I'm going to have a preliminary meeting while we're already in the middle of the 2024, saying, hey, this is what's happened in 2025. Here are some issues. Here's where we're stuck. Here's, what we're looking at doing. And they advise us. We get through it. We start working in January. We start working through the audit January and February. We get the books closed out. And then they're here for their field work, typically the end of March, beginning of April. And then they're here for a week or two. And then after that, we've got 2 or 3 weeks where they're drafting the draft financial report. They present it to me. I present it to the village manager. We go through it. We write the management letter. We get that, and we present it to the board. The idea, from the way that I like to do it, is the very first meeting in that month that it's due. So in June is when the audit should be presented to you for acceptance. And what would happen is I will have the audit partner from our auditing firm, Lauterbach and Amon. The audit partner will be here and presenting that audit to you and leave it open as well as a Q&A in case you have any questions regarding that report. And they usually do a high-level summary on that. But then what happens right after that is that you have maybe a 2-week break, and you go right into a budget cycle. So in July, then you start working on your budget. You start working collaboratively with your team, and then alongside the budget, you have to do the tax levy. So I'll be presenting the tax levy recommendations to you sometime in October, no later than the first meeting in November, because then we have to have the public hearing on that. And then the tax levy has to be filed by the last Tuesday of the year in December, as well as the budget. So you go right into the budget season and the levy season, and then you start up all over again. You go right into audit season, budget season, and they balance each other out, because as soon as you're done with one, they should never be overlapping. And that's kind of been the challenge right now, is that we've got several going on at once just to stay on top of things.
Okay, I have one more question for you, and it kind of goes to that routine, because it does sound like you're very familiar with setting that routine in other, from other experience that you have. Have you worked with a community that has kind of a checklist for the board members particularly, so that they know what they could be expecting and what they should be expecting coming down the pipeline from financial in particular, and budget and audit and all of that, just so that they know what should be on the radar in case anything is missed, setting up those routines so that they don't get lost. Have you ever experienced that?
So typically what happens is when the audit is presented to the board, there's also a management letter that the auditors present. Now, they never really, theoretically, you don't discuss those in public. They give you that report to the board. A copy is given to each one of you. Now, it's given to the finance director and the village manager, and then from there, it gets given to the board. And what that management letter is it goes through all of the internal controls, and it has, all of the GASB pronouncements, all of the internal controls, and it says, hey, based on this, when we came in, we audited you, we were looking at this, and you complied with A, B, and C. Or you didn't comply with A, B, and C. Typically, there is, especially with smaller organizations, there's sometimes that some things slip through the crack, and then they just kind of ding you in a way. But all they're looking to do is to improve your operations and improve your controls and make sure that you have the right parameters in place. And so you'll get that report, and the finance director has the opportunity, before that report is even in draft form, the auditors will present it to the finance director. And that director will have the opportunity to say, okay, this is how what we're going to implement, either a new policy or a new structure or new staffing, whatever is out there, and make a recommendation, whether informally or formally, to get that in place for the next fiscal year. And so that management letter should be given to you as a board so that you know, hey, this is what they're lacking on or not lacking on. Typically, what happens too is that you as a board are given a SAS 99 letter when the audit starts, which is a letter that says, hey, are you aware of any fraud situations or if there's anything that's made you uncomfortable? And so they send you this questionnaire, and it's usually by email, and you're supposed to complete that questionnaire, and then if there's any concerns, then they'll meet with you one-on-one. They also do the same for every single department head within the village. And then they present that when they're presenting the audit with the board as well.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Trustee Kumar.
You spoke to the the pension fund and transferring from the general fund, and that you're holding off on that, and that you're getting estimates, but you don't have it. Do you have any kind of estimate on how much of that fund you already know does not need to be transferred over, or you do not at this point?
I have an idea, and, off the cuff, I'm thinking it's about 2 million, but here's the issue with that is I hesitate to say that number out loud, is because I have to look at, we have how many months left to the end of the year. Mm-hmm. We have, me not being experienced here in terms of with the village. I was talking with my colleagues as department heads, they're like, for the example of the capital fund, there was supposed to be $3,752,000 transferred from the general fund to the capital fund. Even though the capital fund hasn't expensed that, and let's say by the end of the year, because it's a delay in the project, they won't need that full amount to be transferred, let's say I can reduce it by $1 million, they're still going to need that $1 million next year. So just because it's saving us now, then when we sit down and we meet and we talk about this, they have a better idea of, can I do this, can I not do this, and, what the actual cost is going to be, and whether we do the second part of it or not, or if it crosses over to the next fiscal year. So we are in that stage of conversations that we're just beginning to have. That's why I feel bad actually making that statement, because they're probably sitting there saying, well, no, because we need it for A, B, C, and D. And that may be the case. It may be that I may have an idea right now that we don't need to do that full transfer, and I can bring in an amended budget, because that's my thought right now. But then I may have a meeting tomorrow with one of them, and they'll be like, you missed A, B, and C, because they have the historical knowledge, me being the newbie, not knowing that, and I can't make that recommendation.
And so if you have the transfer and you're not transferring, a lot of this you think will flow over into the budget next year, which needs a shortfall a little bit in the ability to spend next year, I assume.
Correct. Okay. Correct. And that's what's working on with the department heads, what they're doing in BSNA when they're entering their budget. They're not just looking at what their requests are for next year. They're also looking at, hey, they can see the history for the last 2 years of what they spent on a specific line item, and then they're looking at, this is what we spent to date, because everything is live in the ERP system. So they can drill down on it, they see the dollar amount, they see what they spent. Let's say I have $100,000, I spent 70, I'll probably only spend 20,000, I'm going to have a surplus of 10,000 in a specific line item in that column for 2025 year end. Then they'll plug in and say, I expect it to be $90,000 expenditure at the end of the year. Because then what the system does is at the end of the day, I can run a report after they enter those in and see, okay, we ask for this much and this is where we're going to land. So this is kind of in a better financial situation, or not, if the other way goes around in some aspects.
So in some way, we have the expense side, but I think we're still kind of behind in the revenue side and expected revenues, right? Because of the reconciliation that hasn't happened.
Some of it is the revenue, but most of it is on the expense side, because what you have is when you're looking at right now, we're in September, we still have, there's a 3 payroll month, I believe, in October, and then you've got 2 payrolls in November, 2 payrolls in December, so you've got to take that calculation into effect. Like I said, on some of these construction projects, I would think the Public Works Director would have a better idea of, where we are with the project, and that we're going to spend the full amount, because he was here since the beginning of the project, I wasn't. in that aspect on that side. So the expense side plays a vital role in that as well as the revenue, but I think the expense side plays a bigger role than the revenue side.
Okay, so you're expecting probably that most of the revenues have been recorded, and it's more the expenses that are, more of the expenses that are outlying at this point?
Correct.
Okay. I have one more question about that. When we were at the IML this weekend, that we had, I was at the budget workshop for Illinois, and they were talking about the use tax versus the regular sales tax and our grocery tax and that issue, and they were saying that a lot of times it's not matching up one-on-one, and there's going to be a loss somewhere in there. Do you anticipate that for the next year possibly?
No, and actually, there's only one item that we came across today, that there's a differential from what's recorded on the state's website for the state use tax and what we actually got in the bank account. And so there's actually a $30,000 variance, and we have a call into the state to figure out what happened, because this is what you're reporting, because that's all public information. So pulling the report off the state's website and then looking at what's in the bank account with that differential, they've got to explain that. And it could be just an error, or it could be that situation, but I want something in writing from them to explain that, because then I want to have that for our auditors to say, hey, this is why this doesn't match.
Okay, just, that was something concerning to me, that's why I just wanted to ask at this point. Thank you.
Do we have any more questions from the board for Director Micah? All right. Director Micah, thank you. I appreciate it. We are going to move along to our FOIA report. The FOIA report is in the board packet. Are there any board members that have any questions or comments? Trustee Alfano.
Yes, I do have one question, and it's not exactly related to the one that's in front of us. I just wanted to know how many requests from previous reports that are still open, if we're caught up, if we're almost caught up, what that might look like, because I know that for a while it was kind of a slow-moving train.
I believe on that report, there's 2 that were from May, and those are the last 2 that were past due. So right now, we are up to date. Actually, there's none pending that are past due right now for the village.
Thank you. Thank you for your help in getting that caught up.
Yep. Thanks.
One of the things that I will say is that at our last DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference, we talked about how DuPage County in general and all over the state is experiencing a high influx of FOIA requests, and that this is an issue not just here in Villa Park, but everywhere, and that even at the state level are looking into how we could help alleviate some of the workload. I will say that with our HR now, with Dan McCann, and also as well as Cheryl Wagner in the manager's office, they have worked tirelessly to get us up to speed. Like Trustee Alfano said, is that we were behind a little bit on those requests. And so I just want to thank Dan and Cheryl for getting us up to speed and all the hard work that they've been doing to get us there. So thank you for that. Do we have any other questions or concerns or comments on the FOIA report? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move along to ordinances for a first reading, 11A. Ordinance of the Village of Villa Park amending Article 3 of Chapter 19 of the Villa Park Municipal Code to regulate fees for storage of towed vehicles. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance would amend Article 3 of Chapter 19 of the Municipal Code regarding fees related to the towing of vehicles by the police department. This is a first reading. Staff recommends approval, and I believe Chief Kubish is in the audience if you have any further questions.
Does the board have any questions? Trustee Kozar.
I'd like to make a motion to waive the first reading, or would it be the second reading?
Okay, we have a motion by Trustee Kozar to waive.
And approve, I'm sorry.
And approve the first reading.
I'll second.
Trustee Constados is a second. Do we have any discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes.
Trustee Cordova?
Yes.
Trustee Constantos?
Yes.
Trustee Kozar?
Yes.
Trustee Kumar?
Yes.
Trustee Sabri?
Yes.
Okay. We do not have any ordinances for a second reading, or 13. So we'll move on to 14 resolutions. 14A, a resolution authorizing and improving an agreement with Mallon and Associates Incorporated to assist with economic development. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. This resolution would enter the village into an agreement with Mallon Associates Incorporated to assist in the redevelopment of strategic and key retail and commercial properties within the village for a period of 12 months. The company's proposal is attached to the resolution. Staff recommends approval, and in our audience, we do have the President, Michael Mallon of Mallon and Associates, if you have any questions. And I do believe you have a brief presentation, sir, if the board would allow.
Okay, do we have a motion for the resolution? Trustee Kozar?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Trustee Sabri? Okay, discussion and presentation, please. Let's do the presentation.
While she's pulling that up, can you pull it up or? Okay. While she's pulling that up, let me go ahead and get started. First off, thank you very much for inviting me here this evening. President, trustees, staff, as well as residents of Villa Park. I can't tell you how excited I am to potentially work with Villa Park. As you'll see in a minute, I'm going to give you a little bit of background in regards to my company, as well as about myself. Just real quickly, it seems like it wasn't that long ago when I came from Detroit and I came to the Village of Lombard for my first job. I have a degree in urban planning, and I worked in Michelle's position, if you will, for the Village of Lombard, and I was there for about 6.5 years. I served as their Director of Planning and Zoning through a very high growth period. It was a wonderful opportunity for me. We ended up doing the first TIF along Roosevelt Road in Lombard, as well as we're involved with several expansions of Yorktown, as well as a number of other residential projects. As you can tell by my white hair, I've been in this industry for a number of years. I've been here working in commercial real estate for 45 years. In between working for the Village of Lombard and then starting my own company 20 years ago, I ran the real estate program for Jewel Osco throughout the Midwest, everything from Montana all the way to New England. And when they were being bought by Albertsons, they offered me a wonderful job in Boise. And I said, nope, thank you. I'm a Chicago guy. My kids, which I have 3 children, had no interest in relocating to Boise. And so I ended up contacting Safeway. They had just gone ahead and acquired Dominick's. I ran their real estate program for a number of years until we collectively ran that into the ground. I ended up leaving before things imploded by a number of years. And like I said, 20 years ago, it would be 20 years ago in May, I started Mallon Associates. We are a boutique real estate firm. We really do 3 things. We do development, we do brokerage, and we do consulting. I've had the opportunity over the last 15 years to serve as an adjunct professor down at the University of Illinois, teaching real estate financial analysis, as well as teaching commercial development. And my students would often ask me, so Professor Mallon, what do you do? And for years I'd go on, I'm a developer this, and brokerage this, and I finally came to the conclusion that what I do, very simply, is I'm a problem solver. Now, if my wife was here, she would probably tell you I generally cause some of those problems but myself, but it's one of those things, collectively working together, we are able to solve problems that exist out there. I work with retailers, I work with property owners, I work with municipalities to be able to get things done. An example which I'd like to share with you is my work in Glenview for the last 3 years. We've gone ahead and we've done 7 restaurants. We've gone ahead and done a mixed-use development, which is now under construction in their downtown area. And that's really, most of that work has been done within the last 2 years. I've gone ahead and I'm showing you up here a little map of the downtown area of Glenview. And if you're not familiar with the community, yes, it is larger, and I will talk a little bit as I finish up in terms of population and how I think I can be of value to Villa Park. The downtown area consists of Waukegan Road and Glenview Road. What you see on the map there in red are a series of restaurants that, for the most part, we've gone ahead and been able to get to come to Glenview as a result of a very strong downtown strategic plan and a focus by the community and the board to be able to get things to happen. Also adjacent to the train station in blue is the Circa mixed-use development, which is a 6,500 square foot ground floor retail above with 62 residential units. Over the last 24 months, our firm has done a variety of deals. I've gone ahead and I've shown you up here in terms of really what those deals are. You'll notice that there's a number of grocery stores that I've been involved with, whether it's Jewel Osco, Heritage Grocery Group, which in this market is Tony's Fresh Foods, Jungbu Market, which I'm in the process now of buying a couple of new locations for them. I've also done a variety of restaurants, both in terms of full sit-down restaurants as well as what we call quick service restaurants, QSRs, as well as a number of other miscellaneous retailers. Every one of these deals has been done for other people's accounts or other municipalities. They're all unique and they're all different. But I think that based on my experience and my knowledge and my relationship, I'm able to get things done that other folks generally can't maybe get done. I am here this evening as the president of Mallon Associates to tell you that if in fact you were to select me to work with your community and to work with your staff, this is who you get. This is not a bait and switch situation and I bring on an associate that's going to be doing the heavy lifting. I will be the one that would serve as your advisor in regards to economic and development really throughout the community. There are several tools that I've gone ahead and I've developed and created over the last couple of years that help me get things done. The first one up there, and I've gone ahead and I've provided this to your staff, is every year we put together a list of all of the new and active retailers in the Chicagoland that are doing locations. If you take the time, and I'm happy to share this with you, you would notice that there's over 550 retailers that are growing throughout the Chicagoland area. The greatest source of those, the greatest retailers in that area that are growing are restaurants. And that's one of the things that generally residents want, as well as community wants. And whether it's my work in Glenview or Wheeling, Gurnee, I'm able to utilize my experience and my relationship to get things done. On what would be the right-hand side of the sheet up there, this is a list of restaurants, groups, here in the Chicagoland area. This is page one, I think, of 7 pages that I track in terms of groups that are expanding. And you've got the name of the hospitality group along with the various different restaurants. And I have relationships with those folks, and that's, again, how I get things done. I have had a chance to spend some time with your staff as well as with your new comprehensive plan to really get a feel for the vision that you'd like to have moving forward. And in your comprehensive plan, you've identified some 6 sub-area plans, and you've identified a number of catalyst areas. And what I think you mean by that, and what I think about that, is what I often refer as a spark site. So if in fact you were able to do some redevelopment in that area, that would be a catalyst for other development in and along those corridors, whether it's North Avenue, St. Charles Road, which, as you know, goes from Westmore East to the Salt Creek. You've got a variety of uses, which include retail, residential, as well as institutional uses. Roosevelt Road, which is the same corridor that goes through my old town, Lombard, as well as my home of Wheaton. And earlier tonight, you were asking me how long it took me to get here. It took me about 20 minutes. I spend most of my time out in the field, driving the markets, talking to the residents, talking to property owners. So I'm very, very familiar with your community, and also I think what your vision is according to your comprehensive plan. Ardmore District, which is your historic corridor, it has its own set of challenges as well as its own unique opportunities. Your Uptown District, which surrounds your only metro station, which is screaming for a transit-oriented development, a TOD, not unlike with what we've done in Glenview with the Circa development. And last but not least, your Old Town District, which is your business district, which has a mix of residential, commercial, and institutional project opportunities. All of these sub-areas address unique issues and opportunities for the village. I believe with the commitment from the board and your staff and what I can help bring to the table in terms of my relationship and my experience, we can get stuff done in a timely manner. What I've identified on here are really next steps. I've gone ahead and provided a proposal, which I would like to address in a minute or two. My next step after that would be to continue to tour the sub-areas with your staff. I would prepare what I refer to as an action plan, which is a very short overview of each one of those sub-areas, both from a demographic standpoint, what's also there from a retail standpoint, and most importantly, steps moving forward. Who are the retailers? Who are the uses that would make sense for us to be able to contact? I then start to contact those retailers and the users and really kind of deliver on your plan and your vision in your comprehensive plan. Last but not least, where I get my greatest excitement is bringing the retailer to town, getting them to open up, and then watching them grow. I recently was involved in a project in Willowbrook, which is another municipality that I also serve as an advisor for. Anyone here familiar with Binny's? Okay. Binny's, very successful local operator, was busting on the seams along Route 83. They were at a point in their career, their evolution, that they needed to expand or get out of town. And there really wasn't the opportunity for them to expand. So working with Binny's, I was able to get Binny's to agree to move across the street, also into Willowbrook, take an old Bed Bath & Beyond, and so they could then expand to about 24,000 square feet. That is now the #1 Binny's here in the Chicagoland area. That left behind a great opportunity. One of the things that the residents survey wanted was a local hardware. This is nothing against big boxes, but they wanted a local hardware store they could go and they could get a what's-a-jigger and to figure out what to do with it. So I ended up bringing Ace Hardware in, which is now under renovation and will be opening up in the next couple of weeks. Earlier this evening, during your public participation, Mrs. Tucker asked some very specific questions, and I would like to address those questions if I could. One, in terms of the population. In terms of Villa Park, as you know, your population is about 22,000. I have worked with all sizes of communities, including the city of Chicago, as well as I've worked on a handful of other municipalities that are at or even smaller than Villa Park. And that includes Harvey, Brookfield, Roselle, to mention a few. Comment was also made in regards to my fee, which is based on what we anticipate would be my amount of time to do work in your community. And that's about 20 hours a month. And then we backed into $7,000 based on $350 an hour. There is no other additional charges other than out-of-pocket fees as long as we stay within the scope of the work. If for some reason you ask me to get involved with whatever, an industrial park, or something that isn't what the proposal is, that's when the additional hours would be. I feel very, very confident that the fee that I'm charging is going to be more than sufficient for the amount of work that I've been asked to basically budget. So in closing, I just would love to say to you, I'm a very passionate person. As I mentioned earlier, I've been in this business 45 years. I don't do this necessarily for the money, and I know then you're going to come back and say, wait a minute, give us a deal. I do it, as Michael Jordan used to say, for the love of the game. I only pick and choose those communities where I think I can make an impact, where I think I can add value and talk about the successes that we've had. It's not a sprint, okay? I know you want results yesterday, but it's a journey. And I think if we do have a chance to work together, we'll set things in motion. And often, with the municipalities I've worked with, once you let me in the room, I very seldom go away. So thank you very much. I'm happy to address any other questions.
Board, do we have any questions? Trustee Constados.
Yes, thank you. I have a couple questions. You said there is no other additional expenses other than like out-of-pocket expenses. Could you explain what you mean as far as out-of-pocket expenses? Are we talking about like miles, gas?
Yeah, if in fact, we set up a regularly scheduled meeting with your staff, which is generally every 2 weeks. Sometimes those can be done on a team meeting. Sometimes those can be done face-to-face. I'm a good old-fashioned guy. I like to sit and talk to people directly, and so I'm going to charge you, the 70 cents from coming from my house or office in Wheaton to coming over here. If in fact, one of the things that we do is we spend a number of times, meetings with different organizations. In October, an organization or a trade association that I'm involved with, and I think, Michelle, you probably are too, International Council Shopping Center is going to be having an event in the city of Chicago. I'm not going to charge you for that because I'm going to be going there regardless. But if for some reason we decide that we want to put together a package of list of available properties and I charge you for printing or something along those lines, or if we want to prepare some poster or something, those are the kinds of out-of-pocket expenditures, and those are the things that I would typically review with your staff prior to doing those.
Okay. Can you also explain, because I'm seeing in here that there could possibly be additional costs for additional work outside of the proposal? What would you consider something
So that's what I had mentioned before, trustee. And if for some reason your staff said, Mike, we got another problem, and it's this industrial park, and we want to go ahead and create a logistics center, and that's not really what we did our proposal on, I would say, hey, and again, if I feel like I can add value to that, sure, I can work on that. Here's what I would think. That's going to probably end up taking 5 additional hours over a 6-month period. So any additional charges are things that I'm going to review with your staff. And as I look at the other municipalities that I've worked with over the last 3 years, I cannot think of any additional add-on charges other than out-of-pocket expenditures, which have been, in my mind, more dollars and nickels than anything of major consequences.
And then I have one last question, but not for you. I'm sorry, more for staff or Manager Rivas. Can we explain to the residents where the $7,000 per month would be coming from our budget?
Absolutely. We have one staff member that staff position was not filled, and so it would easily cover that cost. Also, if there's any ancillary costs that go into it, we could also pay for professional services through any of the TIF districts if there's any development in those TIF districts. So we could easily cover this cost.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Trustee Kumar?
I saw your list of retailers. My concern, at least from the first picture I saw, are many of them are already nearby somewhere in town, and they don't seem to be a very unique list. And I feel that may be an issue. Now, I might only see the first page. There were maybe multiple pages of list, as you said. There were different pages. And I think in order to get the retailers, and for them to have a success, it has to be a unique set of retailers to enter a town. If it's already in Elmhurst, if it's already in Lombard, they're going to think twice, right? So this is my concern with this list. We've got Ace Hardware, we've got Jewel, which we already have, a whole bunch on this list, which we already have. As far as restaurants, unique things, what have you brought, Glenview is one example you gave, but you brought an Ace Hardware there too. What have you brought that's unique in some towns in terms
So
of?
let me address your question, because I think it's, there's multiple layers to it.
Yeah.
Okay? In this list, once you get past the cover where is all the pretty logos, I've got over 550 both national, regional, as well as local retailers. There's 17 pages of retailers on here. And don't get me wrong, I love national retailers, but sometimes national retailers don't get it. They don't understand the market. They tend to, and I can say this with experience because I worked for 2 national retailers, that every community, every market is unique, okay? And I've done lots of business with independent retailers, restaurants that have been on to their second and third restaurant. I'll give you an example of that is in Glenview, okay, where we've done a lot of restaurant deals. I don't know if you're familiar with Foxtail. Foxtail has a location in Downers Grove. They also went ahead and they bought from the Park District the old church in Des Plaines. It is an unbelievable restaurant, outdoor dining area overlooking the lake. And Trustee, you're shaking your head. Hopefully you've had a chance to go ahead and visit it. It is unbelievable. We ended up getting them in an old restaurant location that had been closed for years to consider it and also to invest in renovating that and keeping the architectural style of that building. And it is under construction right now, so if you were to go down Glenview Road, you would see many of the projects that I've talked about because they are underway. So I think it's important, and this is again where I think I can help. You have a thought, you have an idea. As you're traveling around and you see things, you can drop me a text, you can call me, you can work through your staff and say, hey, Mike, did you ever think about this? And I'm going to say yes, no, or maybe. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you spent time talking? You mentioned Jewel. Okay? Don't get me wrong. I love a shiny new toy. But you know what? Existing retailers are having challenges. I don't know if you follow what's going on with Kroger and Mariano's. They've gone ahead now and they've closed 4 stores. Okay? I'm tracking them that I think there's about another dozen stores. You don't have a Mariano's, but you got a Jewel. You should be talking to Jewel to find out how you doing. You know what their sales are, but I'm telling you, sales don't give you the picture because we all know expenses have gone up and sales may have been flat. Bottom line profits are down. How's your store doing? Can it expand? It's interesting. When I first got into the shopping center business, I had a shopping center that came back to the Bank of Montreal, 95th and Roberts Road in Hickory Hills. Center was half vacant. And the Bank of Montreal said, Mike, you got to figure this out. And so I came up with a great idea. I'm going to go ahead and bring in some non-retail uses. I did a deal with Lewis University. I did a deal with healthcare, doctor's office. Oh, wait a minute. Jewel's lease prohibited those uses going in there, okay, which is a real issue with big box retailers. So I went to Jewel, and what I thought it was going to be a cup of coffee ended up taking 6 months for me to understand everything I could about Jewel and about that location. And along the way, we got Jewel to expand, got them to go ahead and extend their lease, and most importantly, allow us to do what needed to be done in the rest of the shopping center. So let's not forget about your existing retail base. Not to say that you do, but a lot of folks focus more on the new businesses, and I think it's important also to work with your existing businesses to make them successful. Hopefully that answers. Yes?
A little bit more on that take. Also, we have this huge TIF that was just set up on St. Charles, which is kind of, I think, the concentration region where I think business has to come in, especially since it's a new business and growth. What are your ideas for that?
Well, you've got the map here. This is your comprehensive plan. You see those yellow boxes and those red boxes? Those are redevelopment areas. Those are catalyst sites. And so I think, if you recall from my next steps, I'm very familiar with it. I've been up and down St. Charles Road all of my life, particularly, further west because of Lombard. But one of the first things that I do is I roll my sleeves up. I travel around the market with your staff. I try to see things. I talk to people, and I try to get a better vision. And then from there, I come up with what is about a 10-page action plan for this area. So if you could hold that thought after you go ahead, if you're interested in engaging me, then I can certainly chat with you further about what my plan is. But I will say this, I want to be responsive to the community. You guys have spent time and effort in your comprehensive plan. You've got a vision of where you want to go, and I think now it's a matter of how do you execute on it. This is not easy stuff, and your staff is already busy on lots of other things, but I think collectively working with somebody like myself, I can help them, help you, help the community grow.
Trustee Sabri?
I think you have a good point that you bring in a lot of value. 40 years is of experience is a lot of experience, and Villa Park is different than Glenview and some of these other towns we discussed. I know you also mentioned that you work with Lombard, and you have brought in some development there as well. Could you elaborate on those back then when you were working?
So, Glenview is an unbelievable community for a variety of reasons. My first project I ever did in Glenview when I was at Safeway is I bought 13 acres of land at the corner of Lake and Patriot, which is part of the Glen. And I did the Wildfire Corner Bakery, now Emma, and then also the Dominick's. I also then did another project in Glenview where I took the old Dominick's and working with the municipality and brought Heinen's out of Cleveland, another grocer, into the market. They've got lots of money. They've got 13 grocery stores. They got a Costco. You ever heard of App? I mean, they've got a lot of sales tax generating things. So in terms of the dollars that are available, that's up here. But the thing that I tell every municipality or anyone ask me, here's the thing that's important. You need to have a unified board that shares a common vision. You need to have a plan in terms of what do you want to do, and you have to have a desire. And therefore, then you can do things. And so, Glenview's had a lot of success, but I've had lots of other success, even from my early days in Lombard, as Director of Planning and Zoning, creating the TIF, which created High Point Center along Roosevelt Road and was one of the first Cub food locations in the the Illinois area. We also took our municipal village hall and moved it to Wilson Avenue and created a complex for the municipal services. That then created an opportunity in our downtown area. We created another TIF, took the village hall site along with the school that I closed, and we did a residential project. And that was a long time ago. That was back in 1985 is when I left there. But the thing is now, when I travel through Lombard, the amount of restaurants and outdoor areas, it came together. They stayed with their plan and they stuck their vision. So again, every community, very, very similar to the comments you made about retailers. You want it to be interesting, you want it to be exciting, and it's unique. As I sit here this evening and listen when you went ahead and you promoted people, and the amount of excitement, and then the fun committee relative to the landscaping. You got something unique here. And so, as you are, embrace it and enjoy it. But I also, and I said this, Mike, when we met, first off, I think the suburbs are going through a rejuvenation. It's their time to shine. I'm not going to talk politics at all in regards to what's happening or not happening in the city of Chicago. But almost every restaurateur I talk to tells me, I don't want to do deals in the city anymore. I want to be out in the suburbs. And so I think that creates an opportunity for you. And I think that There's a lot of good things going on in Lombard, got a lot of good things in Glen Ellen and Wheaton and whatnot. I think it's your time. I think there's opportunities, as I've seen so far in a short period of time. So allow me to roll my sleeves up and get started.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Seeing none, we will go ahead with a roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
I guess I had another question or two, but, yes.
Trustee Constados.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri. Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. All right, moving forward, item 15, unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business? Trustee Alfano.
Yes, thank you. Some of the things that came up today, can we maybe problem solve a temporary solution at Villa and the Prairie Path Crossing while we're waiting? Because I do think that Ms. Albers does have a point. We do have a lot of activity, especially at certain times of the day, and it does create some concerns and some dangerous situations at that time. And then also, this is to, I guess, for board members maybe who were here before me, and maybe we received some of these things and I didn't know what to do with them. Director Micah mentioned a management letter. I just would like to know, we don't have to have the answer now, but if we've ever received that in the past, if we've ever received any questionnaires from anybody doing an audit. I don't remember any of those things, so I would just like to know, if we have.
Yes, we have,
Okay,
and we can touch base on that.
yeah, I appreciate that, thank you.
Trustee Kumar, unfinished business?
Yes, I would like an update on the union and what's happening with the union. There were questions that came up, and that's something that needs to be updated on, as to how far they are, what their issues are and stuff. It's been a while since we had an update on that. I also would like to bring apart, if we can, and this is an idea I have, when we talk about, like our commission, if there's something we can do to send it to the commission on the agenda, that would be helpful, because there are things that I want to bring to a commission that I would like to send in front of everybody to a commission to address, something like a road or something like that, because our commissions are new. They're working on new things. I'd like that as part of the agenda. So it's a discussion we can have, how we can do that, but that's something I'd like to also address.
Okay. Trustee Constados.
Yes, thank you. I would also like an update on Lions Park. To be given, please.
We have the ribbon cutting for Lions Park this Thursday, 9/25 at 5 p.m.
No, I was talking about as far as what we were discussing with being finished. The trees.
As far as the trees?
Yes.
The landscaping?
Correct.
Okay, okay.
I wanted an update on that from staff. Sorry, I should have been more clear.
No worries. Director Howe.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, we had our punch list walkthrough with landscaping. Hacienda is aware of what needs to be addressed. They will address the concerns with trees. We get a one-year warranty from once it's planted and accepted from punch list. So anything that is dead will be replaced on the contractor.
Did they say when they would start doing that?
Yeah, we've had conversation with them. It's on the contractor to come out to actually do the work. We can push them, but if they're not coming out,
I didn't know if they had given like a date.
yeah, no, we have not heard anything on date yet.
And then are we still going to be withholding till that is complete? The last, I believe it was payment 5 and 6, I want to say.
Yeah, so I think Ryan talked about once they do the work, we have to pay them per Illinois law. But we do have retainers that we can withhold. So if nothing has been done, we could still hold retainage until they complete the work.
Thank you.
Trustee Sabri?
If we can get a list of, I know that we have landscaping with Part A, B, and C, and D. Do we have a punch list that what we have done in the Part A and what we accomplished in the B and what the billing was for that? So perhaps, we do sit here and approve all these, but we have no way of knowing it, that what has been accomplished and what is not. So it would be a good idea if the board can receive that information so we know where we stand today.
Absolutely. I'll work on that for you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving along to new business. Is there any new business? Trustee Constados?
Yes, thank you. I have two things. One, I would like to request to come up with a better plan or talk about, or maybe it would even go to a commission, the situation at Ardmore and Ridge. I know that that area recently had an accident take place. But that area, I live in that area, so I know coming down the bridge of Ardmore going southbound, and the traffic merges right, is an issue with people trying to turn right onto the frontage road there, which is Ridge. I would like that area kind of looked at, please, for a possible different solution. And then my only other thing is from going to our TIF conference, we learned a lot of different things, and there was a lot of policies and ordinances that other villages had that we don't have or maybe need to look at to be modernized. And I was wondering if we could look into doing a formal policy on how our TIF funds are spent.
Okay,
And that's it. Thank you.
thank you. Is there any other new business? Trustee Alfano?
Thank you. One of the things that I struggle with when I look at the packet and when we are asked to approve spending, especially now as we continue to uncover things in our budget, is not exactly knowing where in the budget we're going to get, we're getting the spending from for the ask. So I'm wondering if we can explore a staff policy regarding some of those agenda items that are asking us to approve some of the spending, to include such things like the budget info, department line item, just so that we can have that information. I think that's one of the most asked questions, I think, when we have a spending ask from staff is, well, where are we going to get the money? I just hear that over and over and over again. So if we can just put that in the packet, I think that would save us a little bit of time or some time trying to dig for that information. And also when we're looking at vendors, I'm wondering if staff could also consider listing other vendors that we have looked at or spoken with so that we know that it hasn't just been one vendor that just kind of came to us and, I don't know how those conversations come to be, but I would like to know that we're not just going with the first person. I'm sure that we haven't in tonight's agenda, but I'd like to just know if we've explored other avenues. That's my ask.
Thank you. Is there any other new business? Trustee Cordova?
Yeah, so, like, tonight, we got the resolution and the packet from, we get two drafts. We get a draft on, I think, Wednesday of the agenda, and then we get one on Friday. And this one was actually pretty early. It was at 5 PM, which thank you. When we have resolutions that we're going to have to, and this kind of ties into a couple other things. When we have resolutions that we have to vote on immediately and spend money, I would also like to see where that's coming from. But then also, is there an opportunity? And I know we have questions, but if we have some of these, if we can get as much information as possible. I mean, I'll tell you this weekend, I didn't have a whole lot of time. I'm a little sick. I'm not sick, but I'm sick. Yeah. I gotcha. Just a little bit of time. And I know we've always pushed for as much information we can get as early as possible. I mean, that was $70,000 plus, because that is going to be a plus. If you guys think we're only spending 70 or whatever it is, we're crazy. That's going to be a plus. And so, where's it coming from? The scope, and like I said, when we were done, I had questions, but we kept moving, which is fine. I didn't say anything right away. But, just a little bit more time on some of these things. And I think it's been at least 2 or 3 that we've had resolutions that have come with a budget and an ask. And we've been kind of pushing things pretty quickly. So if we can, this is just a request, nothing more than, if we're going to spend money and we're going to be asked to spend money on essentially a one-call close here, let's get as much information in here. Can we get a little bit more time? If you know what's going to happen on Wednesday, let's put it in there. Even if you put work in progress, just give us as much information, because I can't imagine that this whole thing came together on Friday and it came through, or from Wednesday to Friday. Because as I look at the 2 resolutions, one got pushed into consent agenda, and then we have a brand new one. So spend time and looking at it on Wednesday, and then here comes Friday at 5 o'clock, and then we get this. So just a request.
Trustee Alfano?
Along that same lines, I think that since we do have newer board members here, we also need to remember that we can always say that we would like to table something to the next meeting if we are not comfortable voting on the resolution at that moment. We do have that ask, and I know that in the time that I've been on the board, we have almost always, if not always, said, yeah, we'll pause on that and take a break and make sure that everybody has the information that we want. So I think that, especially for our newer members, let's remember that you don't have to vote on it. If we're starting the roll call vote and you want to stop it, raise your hand and say, hold on, I want to slow this down a little bit. Don't be afraid to do that.
Okay, any other new business? Okay, seeing none, we will move along. We do not have any village commissioner reports, so we'll move along to the village clerk's report.
None.
Okay. And then we have our village trustee reports. We'll start on my left. Trustee Kumar.
Yes, I'm just going to thank the Illinois Municipal League. It was a great conference. I learned a tremendous amount, and they cover a variety of topics. A lot of it that I was at had to do with the TIFs, and that was good. And I visited everything from topics on what I consider taxes and taxation, money coming into TIF districts, to some police business. I just kind of went across the board to many of their educational activities, which was enlightening. You learn a lot, and you learn mainly that a lot of villages are like us. A lot of villages have problems, and actually we're not in the worst position as a village in general, because quite frankly, we don't have the space for a data center, which is a huge issue for a lot of villages in terms of their environmental impact, as well as their costs going up. And so let's be happy sometimes that Villa Park's a little landlocked. And it was a great, great time, and the people who put it together did a really good job. And I enjoyed spending time with some of the other trustees as well, and it was very enlightening, and it's an experience I think everybody should have at once. And that's all I have to say at this point.
Okay, Trustee Sabri.
I will agree with Trustee Kumar that it was a good conference. We learned a lot. This was my first time there, so thank you for Village of Villa Park resident to sending us there. I think it will bring a great value to our community, what we have learned. On the second note, Manager Rivas, thank you, sir, for cleaning up the train station. Since I took the train second, third time, it was a real changer. You can say that it's a great cleanup. It was overdue for the last 2 years. The residents.
If I may, I would just extend a thanks to the Parks and Rec Department and Director Howe for their hard work. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. This was coming up next, that I would like to extend my thanks to the staff. I was there on daily basis watching what they were doing. And I know it was a time constraint that they could only work few hours, but they did a beautiful job, and I personally thank them for that. Please do. September 11, we had a Patriot Day ceremony at the Villa Park Fire Station. I think the Willowbrook High School did a great job. I know it's not, it's a very emotional day, and we can only imagine that it was almost 24 years ago that it happened. And I think the fire chief, he does a great job remembering those fallen ones, the police, the fire, and the people we lost. So it was a great memory for them. Congratulations to our Deputy Chief, Jose Pagan. He deserves it, and it's job well done. Sergeant Sonia Pagan as well. Congratulations to your becoming a first female supervisor in the Villa Park police force. Again, I'd like to say thank you for the Islamic Foundation School. I know some of us, we could not be there. Thank you, Manager Rivas, for joining us for that. It was a great Abrahamic dinner put together by the Interfaith Committee. It was well attended. Trustee Kozar, thank you for taking the time and driving 2 hours from Michigan and driving back the same night because you had another meeting. Also, Commissioner Rodney Pate, Rich Gonzalez, and also Al Stash to be attending that as well. And thank you, IFS, for inviting us to be part of that. Anything we can do, we'd be more than happy to. Please let us know if any other events are coming up. The board love to be part of that, and thank you for inviting us. I think this is all I have. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Trustee Alfano.
Thank you. I would also like to extend my congratulations to to Deputy Chief Jose Pagan and to Sergeant Sonia Bregman. That's one of my favorite things here on the day, is to watch and to be a part of. It just makes you so proud to be here in Villa Park. We do have just some of the best when it comes to our first responders. So thank you very much. Congratulations also to those residents who received the beautification awards or the garden awards tonight. They are an inspiration because not everybody really can have that vision for their yard. So to have those images up, it does inspire your neighbors, not only keeping it very beautiful here in Villa Park, just to take a walk or to inspire others, but just to bring out the beauty, to remember that, there's a lot of frustration in the world, but there's also a lot of beauty here in Villa Park. I want to recognize the Fund Commission because they are a very small but powerful group of commissioners that are doing a lot of things. They are movers and shakers. October 18th is the Autumn Jubilee. Please come out or plan on coming out to support them from 11 to 5. They do have a ton of different activities and some bands. There'll be vendors, there'll be food. Of course, there'll be food. There'll be things for kids. There'll be a lot of fun things to do. So just come on down to the Prairie Path and check it out and be a part of that. And then this was at our dais today, the Villa Park Fire Department has an open house on October 11th from 12 to 3 at Fire Station 81. So I know that there are a lot of families that look forward to that. Please put that on your calendar. I know October will be here before we know it. And then I also wanted to discuss the conference at IML. I want to thank the village for sending us. This is my third year now. 2 years I attended alone, and I learned a lot, and it was great. And I watched other communities show their pride and be a part of a whole. And I was there alone, and I enjoyed it. but I was kind of sad for our community because it was just me saying, but we're at Villa Park and no, it's really great in Villa Park. And this year Villa Park showed up, and it was really nice to have that representation, because now when I can go to a Brad Cole from IML and say, hey Brad, these are my people from Villa Park, I really want you I want to introduce you to them, I want you to get to know them, that's meaningful. And I think when you make those connections with the people who are here to support us, not just legislatively, but just for any questions that we have, I really do think that that's important. So thank you to those of you here on the dais who took the time out of your schedules, because it is a lot of time and it's exhausting. It's hard to sit and listen. It doesn't sound like it would be, but it is difficult to sit and take in that much information all day long. But it was really nice to have some company this year. And that's all that I have for this evening, so thank you.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Constados.
Yes, thank you, President Patrick. Well, everybody keeps mentioning the same stuff. So I'm going to start with, I got some flyers today from a representative of the VFW and was asked if I could leave some at my place of business, which I did, but also if I could leave some here at the meeting, which we passed out. It's for supporting the local veterans and their pumpkin patch fundraiser. So if you're interested in a flyer, you can swing by my shop, or you can even get one from around town. But my ask is that people please support our VFW by purchasing your pumpkins this year from them for their fundraiser. They will be open throughout the month of October from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. during weekdays, daily, and 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. on weekends. So let's show our support and help them out. Also, I wanted to take a second to give my condolences to my friend Donna. I'll keep her last name unsaid, and her family, and send prayers to them on the passing of her aunt, who was the victim from the accident on Ardmore. I too went to the IML conference, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot not only about ordinances and policies, legal systems and FOIAs, but I think we each learned a lot about each other as well. Most of our time is spent going into meetings and conferences and learning. We did get a few hours to have a little bit of fun and get to know each other on a personal level. I think that's really important. I think it helps build a team, and a team is what we're supposed to be. So I want to say thank you to everybody who attended, and for all the laughs, and there was many of them. I had a wonderful time. I'd also like to thank Cheryl Wagner, who set everything up for us. Thank you, Cheryl. You go above and beyond every time. Last off, I'd like to also congratulate both Jose and Sonia on your promotions. I'm honored to say that Villa Park has their first female sergeant, and I know that Sonia will represent our town very proudly. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Trustee Cordova.
No report today.
Trustee Kozar.
I too have no report. Thanks.
Okay. Well, we will be moving along then. Good evening, Villa Park. So it has been a very busy couple of weeks for us. I'll start off with Love Your Neighbor Day was Saturday, and there were over 150 volunteers that helped at about 35 different homeowners here in Villa Park. Last week at the DMMC meeting, the DuPage Mayors and Managers Conference meeting, I met with Illinois Speaker of the House, Chris Welsh. We talked a lot about recent events related to ICE and other issues around the state. Last Friday, I also met with Barb Labatka and students from Seton Academy in Villa Park for a tour of the Villa Park Police Department and Village Hall. And we also had pizza in the president's office, so that was a lot of fun. I want to give a special thank you to our CSOs, Otano and DiBartola, and Manager Rivas for setting that up for us. It was a fun time. I want to reiterate how important our 9/11 Patriot Day ceremony at the Villa Park Fire Department was. It was an emotional time for a lot of people, and 24 years ago. Chief Stapleton did an excellent job, so did the rest of the department and everybody that showed up, and I really appreciate the ceremony that they've been doing every year. So thank you with that. So I too attended the IML conference over the weekend, and what a great opportunity. You never know who you might run into. I was able to have breakfast with Mike Singletary of the 1985 Chicago Bears and briefly talk with him a little bit about some things. He was a keynote speaker for the event, and he had a really outstanding speech. And it was really a great opportunity to get to talk with him for a few minutes. Also, over the weekend, met legendary blues singer Buddy Guy, which was kind of cool. So again, you never know who you really will run into down there. And I do appreciate everybody else that did attend the event. The IML, the Illinois Municipal League, offers educational conferences, resources, books, materials for elected officials at any time. And I do encourage our board moving forward that any time that there are conferences or meetings or resources available, that please do take advantage of them. They are very beneficial and help give you better insight as to what local government is about and how to be a better leader up here on this dais. I made a list of some of the classes that we did attend, and I'll try to go through them quick. There were a lot, there was a lot of information, but TIF 201, Managing and Extending a TIF District, Successful Implementation of a TIF Redevelopment Plans and Projects, TIF Bonding Authority and Uses, Enhancing TIF with Other Economic Development Tools. There's another class, Stimulating Residential Development. There was Parks and Recreation Opportunities, Recent FOIA and OMA Developments, Special Insights from a PAC. The Open Meetings Act, OMA, and Freedom of Information Act training was also there. We also took a class in grant research, planning, and writing. Building a Cyber Incident Response Plan, the why and the how. Public corruption in local government. Licensing and regulatory updates with the Illinois Gaming Board, writing resolutions and ordinances, and from emails to tweets, effective public communication and legal compliance. So that was a few of the classes that we attended over the weekend, and a lot of the information that we gained from there. And board, if you haven't checked your email, I did send you some of the resources and the PDFs that came along with that training, and please feel free to reference them whenever. Behind us too, you can see some of the bookshelves that we have now, and that we are starting to stock these shelves with some of the resources that the IML has as well to provide for that. Moving forward, upcoming events, this Thursday at 5 p.m., we have the grand opening of Lions Park at the new Recreation Center. It'll be nice to see you all out there. Please come enjoy this new park. It is long overdue, and if you haven't seen it already, it is magnificent. Lastly, we have coming up on October 4th at 1 p.m. is Brewfest. And I believe, and that's going to be at Cortese Park again. But again, thank you all for tuning in tonight. I appreciate it, and that is all I have. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, sir. I was also an attendee at the IML conference. My favorite class that I attended was Simulating Residential Development. One of the managers who was on one of the panels had said that stealing is a great flattery thing. He didn't put it that way, but I think you know what I mean. And so I'd like to propose that at some point, somehow, some way, to the board in how to develop and stimulate development in residential areas. I think there's some pockets here that could definitely use a facelift, and it definitely would improve our EAV moving forward as a community. And it puts IML to the side. Also, I want to congratulate Deputy Chief Jose Pagan and Sergeant Sonia Bregman, two very powerful people in the department that I recently worked in. When I first met them in late December of 2020, I was blown away by their dedication and just their aura that they had around them. So two great promotions for the police department. And that is all I have, sir.
Okay, thank you. We do have executive session tonight. We will be moving into executive session for litigation when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of the public body has been filed and is pending, or an action is probable or imminent. That is 5 ILCS 120/2C11. Do I have a motion for executive session?
I'll make that
Trustee
motion.
Constados, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Alfano, is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, we will convene from outside, from executive session, and we will go from there. Adjourn.